Welcome back, everybody. As you know, on the homestead here, we do everything we can to save money and offset our costs. The one of the way we plan to do that is by creating our own chicken feeding. And how we're going to do that today is set up this 3-drawer chest as a mealworm farm to provide unlimited mealworm for our chickens. So stay tuned. Okay, guys, so to start the mealworm farm, we're going to need a 3-drawer bin, a black sieve mesh, and a box cutter, and also some glue gun for now. And what we're doing is we're going to create a border and cut it out and replace it with the mesh. This allows the baby eggs to fall through when the adults are moving around into the second drawer where we keep the mealworms. And this is because the adults tend to eat the baby after a while. So it is important to make sure the drawer that you keep the adults in that will be creating your eggs has a mesh bottom that you go and you can shake it a little bit sometime, or they'll move around and cause the eggs to fall into the next drawer. Okay, we're going to secure the mesh now with the hot glue. And we'll put a generous amount as it will be supporting the entire adult population and the substrate that we plan to put in there as well. So just make sure you firmly press down the hot glue into the mesh and put a good amount of it too. Make sure the glue is hot. And then your finished product should look something like this after trimming off the rest of it and everything. Nice and firm. And you're supposed to test it a little bit, press on it a little bit, just to make sure that everything won't fall through when you get finished and set up. Okay, now that we finished setting up the farm itself, we're going to put it together and add some oatmeal to each drawer so that the beetles can burrow around in it and feel at home. When I look at it, it's pretty much like a chicken coop, same way, or any animal habitat. You have the bedding and the food source and the water source. So for our substrate, we're going to be using some cheap oatmeal we got from the store brand oatmeal. And we just use 1 container per drawer. And that should be good enough. I spread it around evenly. And that was the first layer. The second layer, we pour some more container. We pour 1 more container into that layer. And that layer is going to have the mealworms. So you have the beetles in the top, the mealworm in the middle, and then we're going to have the larvae or the pupae at the bottom. And in a minute, I'm going to show you the different stages of growth and how it works, how the farm works. So it's ready for the worms. Here are the worms. We bought them live offline. I'm going to put the link of the website where we get them in the comment. But we purchased them. I think we got 1,000 mealworm for, I think it was $50 for 1,000 mealworm, and in addition, the website gave us an extra 250 beetles, adult beetles. So that's a really good deal. You can't beat that. And they came through the mail. We had ordered to pick it up from we had scheduled rather to pick it up from the post office instead of having it left on the front step. I don't even think they would have leave it there because they're live insect and stuff like that and the temperature and whatnot. But Here they are. We've introduced them into the substrate, and right away they're going crazy. They jumped off into the oats and start making their home. Be careful, guys. I think I lost a few of them around the house. Be careful when you're trying to put them into the new substrate. Okay, so as we said, the top layer is for the adults. So when they have eggs, they'll drop into the second layer, which is this layer here. So in this layer, we put the mealworms who will, in a couple of days or a couple of weeks, become cocoon that will transfer to the very bottom layer. And when they become cocoon and we transfer them to the very bottom layer, then they will hatch, become adults, and then be put back to the top layer where the cycle will start again. And whenever we have enough on the farm, as I say right now, we're at 1,250. When we have enough, we can feed the chicken them from any stage. We can feed them the pupae, we can feed them the worms, or we can feed them the beetle. But you rather feed them the worms than anything else. You also put a egg carton so the adults have something to crawl into, and we gave them vegetable for both source of food and hydration. And we set this up for a total of, I think, around $75. But as I say, a bag of mealworm at Tractor Supply is $10, and you're not getting a lot. This is an unlimited lifetime supply. So I'm going to show you the different stages for the mealworm next. This is the life cycle of the black beetle, how long they take to grow, and how long they stay at each stage. Okay, guys, so there you have it. Again, we have the beetles in here. They're doing pretty well. As you can see, they're enjoying their home. I think one of them shed their wing right there. I'm not sure about that, but everything is going to plan. My wife do say when we open both, we're supposed to open both jar at the same time so the baby eggs, they don't fall out on the ground. So, and here is the mealworms in the substrate. They're just lying around for now. Right there, we have one or two of them eating away at the carrot, and that's what they do. I'm gonna have like a time-lapse video of them eating stuff one of these days. Here are a couple of them having a meal. I guess that's why they call them mealworm. But very simple setup. This is where the pupae goes, the last one. And that's the cocoon stage. So when they're in the cocoon stage, they'll go to the bottom. But I hope this video was helpful. Simple setup. Again, you feed them every week, or as long as they have a food source and moisture, they should be okay. They should keep reproducing. And when you get up to a number that you're satisfied with, and you sure that you can feed your animals and still have a stable amount in your colony, then you go ahead. I hope this video was I hope this video helped you in some way. Please support our homestead, our journey to a farm. We're trying to show what homesteading is about and how we can sustain the ecosystem by ourselves without, the extra pressures and stuff like that. So like, subscribe, comment, tell us what kind of videos you would like to see next. And thanks for watching. Boom, I'm out.